Warning. Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander viewers are warned that the following program contains images, references to, and voices of deceased persons. Viewer discretion is advised. Coming from the vault today, the 1988 Bicentennial Carnival final.
The Territory had representative games, back in the early 80s and before, and they used to just select a coach every year, and a lot of times it was the premiership coach from the year before. And I was fortunate enough to win a flag in 83 when I first came to the Territory, and then they had a representative game against Glenelg actually on Australia Day, and I was selected as coach, and from there on it just sort of went from there. We beat Glenelg, who were really strong South Australian side at the time, and then we played a whole heap of representative games against VFL clubs at that stage, particularly Essendon, and they were a great success. We had huge crowds at Gardens Oval, and we had a lot of success, and I just continued as a representative coach. I suppose as long as you keep winning, you keep coaching. Pretty exciting time for the Territory, really. I mean, I think it's fair to say that in terms of the national competition, we were sort of looked upon as pretty much the easy beats. And, a lot of people didn't know a lot about our football or our players. And the representative games prior to 1988, we acquitted ourselves really well. And that sort of gave us a bit of a platform. But I still don't think anyone in 1988 actually thought that the Territory were, going to be all that competitive. But we felt that we would be, and we were really excited to be able to participate, on a national level. And as it turned out, we acquitted ourselves extremely well, and our players pretty much burst into prominence probably from that 88 game. I mean, the representative games are fantastic, good for the Territory, and they gave us a lot of exposure within the Territory. But in terms of the rest of Australia, I think they sort of didn't know what a hidden jewel was located up in Darwin and in the rest of the Territory. So 1988 gave us a chance to get on the national stage, and we made the most of that chance, basically. Back then, it was a little bit different. With selection, we'd just come out of a Darwin season, really. We were right in the middle of a Darwin season, I'm sorry. But, we had access to all of it was a state of origin type thing. So we had access to all of our players that had gone interstate, players like Willie Rowe and Bob Jones and Michael McLean, Morris Rioli and Adrian Moschini, and there was quite a lot of players. So it was a matter of trying to pick what we thought was going to be our best side. 27 was a little bit of a restriction, but I mean, you can only play 20 anyway. So we're pretty happy with the way we selected the team. And as it turned out, we went pretty close to selecting the best players that we could have possibly selected at that time for that particular carnival. I think it's fair to say back in the early 80s, I mean, we had a really great football competition and we had some wonderful players, but we really didn't, I think, pay as much attention to a lot of the senior players playing senior football. There was a big push for junior football, which is great, but my particular view is that juniors aspire to seniors, and if you've got a strong senior competition and you've got some great players in that competition, then juniors will always aspire to be like those players. And as it turned out, the representative games gave us a chance to showcase some of our great players that we had in the competition, and a lot of the juniors coming through looked up to those players and wanted to play in representative games. And I think, that rang true with players that came along after the Bicentennial Carnival. It went on to be household names, people like Michael Long and Andrew McLeod and Darryl White, Ronnie Burns, the list just goes on. And all of those kids watched representative football as kids. Some of them were lucky enough to be down at the Bicentennial Carnival, such as Mick Long and Andy McLeod came along a bit later, and they went on to be, just icons of the sport. So I think that by providing the representative games and then doing so well on the carnival, we did the best thing we probably could by our junior footballs to give them something to aspire to, and they really aspired to those representative games and those, state of origin carnivals. And it's just a great shame we haven't really had the chance to compete, at that sort of level and with that sort of exposure all that much since probably the turn of the century. There was, before the carnival happened, there was a protest that, from an Indigenous point of view that maybe they shouldn't have been competing. And for those guys to, they've initially had to make a decision where they're going to play, and the decision was that they were. And I remember having a whole heap of supporters down there, waving flags and all the rest of it. So for our Aboriginal players as well as the rest of the team, they made a statement that day, and it was a great statement, and it foreshadowed a lot of our great Indigenous players moving into the AFL later on. And I think it really solidified the mateship and the camaraderie-ship and the brotherhood, if you want, that we always had. But it made it sort of really concrete, and it put it up front. And I know for sure that all of those guys, all stick together now all over Australia, and that makes me feel pretty good. There was some talk of, pressure being put on us that, our Indigenous players should make a statement and stay away. But I think our players, and we did speak about that, but and it was up to the players, and the players, to their great credit, took the view that, well, the best way to make a statement is to get out there on the national stage and make a statement, instead of just sort of, just skulking away in the background and, making all these platitudes and great speeches and all the rest of it. We'll get out there and do our thing. So that's what we did. And I thought it was the greatest statement anybody could have ever made, and it didn't matter what colour we were. We all felt we were representing the territory and representing the territory in the light that, we needed to, and that was to play football, and that's what we did. Some of the teams that were put into Division 2 were a little bit dirty that they were in there. Tasmania was one of those. They felt that they should have been in the top division. We were just happy to be there. We didn't care who we played. As it turned out, it would have been great if we had been in the top division, because I think we would have acquitted ourselves extremely well. We would have, not saying we would have beaten South Australia or Victoria, who were the top states at that stage, but by geez, we would have given them a hell of a fright. But as it turned out, in Division 2, Tasmania were dirty, and we cleaned them up, I think, by about 12 goals, and they had a very, very strong side. And, we announced that we were there. The Australian Amateurs was a little bit more difficult game, funnily enough. It was probably our most difficult game of the three, because it came pretty much 2 days after our first game, so our players weren't used to backing up quite as quick. We were probably a little bit not let down, but we'd had a great win against Tasmania, so we had to try and refocus really quickly. And I remember that we sort of just battled really hard against the Amateurs, and I think Dennis Dunn ended up kicking 6 goals or something, which got us over the line. And then, of course, when we played the VFA, it was a different story. A hell of a lot about the actual VFA team as such on that particular day. But my own football background was that I played most of my senior football in the VFA for a club called Geelong West before I came to Darwin. So I knew a lot about how strong the competition was, and it was a very strong competition. I knew that how they'd try and play, and I knew what their sort of attitudes would be. So in terms of preparation for the game, we concentrated on ourselves more than the opposition. My view was always, look, if you can look at the opposition, you've got to know their strengths and weaknesses, but I prefer to concentrate on our strengths and play to our strengths, and that's what we did. We knew we were quick. We knew that we'd, have an advantage in that area. We knew that we were a really, really good side, and other sides had underestimated us. So we knew that had happened. The VFA were a really proud competition, so that if the game started slipping away from them, they'd try all sorts of tactics to try to get back into the game. And so we knew what to expect, and that's how we prepared for the game. I tried to tell our guys, look, I'm pretty sure this is what will happen if we do this. This is what will happen if we do that. This is what will happen. And as it turned out, that was pretty well spot on, and we responded extremely well to everything the VFA threw at us. I think they threw everything but the kitchen sink at us, including trying to get under our skin. And I think they flattened Ninny Briston, I think, in the third quarter, and our guys soon fixed that up. So we didn't just win the game, we won the fight as well. So we really showed everybody what we had. The only reason some of our players weren't playing AFL or VFL at that particular time were in straight leagues because no one gave them the opportunity. you know, the opportunities weren't as abundant back in those days as they are now. I mean, just about every player in Australia is on the AFL club's radar, and they pretty much know what they have for breakfast every day from the time that they're probably 14 years old. But back in the early 80s, that wasn't the case. And I mean, we had a lot of players playing in that 88 Bicentennial Carnival that could have made VFL football. You know, players like Dennis and Kadji Dunn, you know, Nini Briston, Joe Armat, you know, like I probably missed heaps. But as I said before, we just concentrated on what we had. You know, we were always very confident that our players were as good as, if not better, than what our opposition was going to throw at us. We always had to think about the composition of the team in terms of height and weight, because we tended to, you know, punch pretty much above our weight. You know, we were always a little bit smaller than the opposition. So trying to find ruckman or key position players was always a little difficult. And that's where a lot of our players stepped up. Blokes like Mick Athanasia and Russell Jeffries, you know, they played above their weight in key positions all the time. At the Bicentennial Carnival, we had a guy called Roy Cassetti and was helped out by Peter McGann in the ruck. And by ruck standards, these weren't big players, but they acquitted themselves extremely well. And once we got the ball to the ground, and that's where our strengths lay, and you'll see that in the replay of just about any representative game or the Bicentennial Carnival game itself. Once we got the ball to the ground and were able to run and spread, we acquitted ourselves better than the opposition. And in a lot of ways, you'll see a lot of, in the territory play back then, you'll see a lot of what modern AFL football has now evolved into. So we were playing pretty much the way that a lot of the really class teams in the AFL play now, back in the early 80s. So if our players had had an opportunity, they would have been sensational in the old VFL competition. I don't remember a hell of a lot about first quarter, to be honest, except that our general match plan, whenever we played tough opposition, whether it was representative footy and the Bicentennial Carnival was the same, was to pretty much just match the opposition in the first half, and then when they got tired, we could we could use our leg speed and our skills to probably take the game away from them. And that used to work really well in Darwin in the hot weather. Adelaide was a little bit different. Footy Park was a little bit bigger than what we were used to. But the match plan was essentially the same. So the first quarter was always going to be a bit of an arm wrestle, and that's how it turned out. I think we had a slender lead. What we did do, and what I tended to try to do even in rep games, was keep a little bit up our sleeve. So I remember Michael Long starting on the bench or on the interchange, and I think Joe Armat got hit halfway through the quarter and had to come off, and we threw Mick Long straight on. We didn't really know, because Mick was just a skinny little kid at that stage, and I wasn't sure what to expect. And he went straight onto the ball. I think he kicked a magnificent check side goal. He ran rings around them, and someone said, "Well, you're going to bring Mick off?" I said, "No, he can stay on there." So him and Nini Briston and those sort of smaller players, really well led by Michael McLean and Maurice Rioli, just set the tone for us, and everyone else just played a great team game. And the first quarter we held the opposition really well, which was what our plan was, and then we just made it away from them after that. So the first quarter was pretty much just about an arm wrestle, as I said earlier, and after that we wanted to play the game on our terms, and that's how it worked out.
Yes, I'd say the honours were definitely with the VFA in that quarter. They defended very well, they ran the ball cleverly out of defence, and their big strong players fought for the front position at every bounce down, and they made full use of their attacking opportunities. NT possibly missed a couple of easy chances, one that Dennis Dunn had in front that he'd normally kick. He kicked out of bounds on the full. But a very delicately poised grand final. There's a lot of work to be done yet in this game. The VFA probably had the harder run in. They had to play 2 games. Well, this is their 3rd game in 3 days. The Territories had the day's rest. Maybe that'll help their legs. It's a contrast in styles. The VFA will kick the ball long to position, look to hold it up in the packs and farm it out to their running players when they've got the numbers. The NT will be looking for the spaces and trying to create the opportunities. 4 goals 3, 27 Northern Territory plays 2 goals 2, Victorian Football Association 14 at quarter time.
Okay, as we start the second quarter with the VFA kicking towards the screen's left, VFA will be moving with the breeze this quarter. As the replacement umpire for the Territorians injured one prepares to start the play, we have Bob Jones at the centre and Jeff Saru contesting for the VFA.
Here's the bounce down. Cassetti versus Saru. Opening of the second quarter, the VFA kicking with about a 3-goal breeze. Up they goes. Nice high bounce. Cassetti over the top. Indeterminate bounce. Long is dispossessed as his brother Brian comes in. Mark Motlop sweeps on the loose ball. Sends the ball back in towards the centre. Rioli comes through and takes the good chest mark. Looking to play on there, but well held by his VFA opposite number. Now Dennis Dunn leads. There goes the kick out from Rioli. Jones overruns the ball. Now it's Dennis Dunn back in the van. He's well tackled from behind. Could have been freed there for... could have been holding the ball. And there we go. Collins, good player. Ronnie James, the Footscray Rover. He shoots the ball down half forward. Big pack there. The ball's destroyed. Comes out through a wild handball there from Russell Jeffrey. And now Bergman, the elusive forward. Oh, good play there. The player runs... Dudley runs through and he finds O'Reilly at full forward. And that's just the sort of opening the VFA were looking for.
As we wait for Grant O'Reilly to come up for that kick, he's about 30 yards out from goal, directly in front, with a very strong breeze coming straight over his shoulder. A couple of effective pieces of play there by the VFA half-forward line to get the ball eventually across to Grant right in front as he prepares for the kick to goal. Stabs at the ball, but nevertheless straight through the centre for the VFA's third goal to take them along to 3-2-20, trailing the Territory 4-3-27.
Obviously a kicking manoeuvre that's been rehearsed by the VFA there to keep the ball low, stop the strong breeze here having an influence on the ball, and it worked quite well. The low skimming drop punt straight through the middle. 4-3-27 NT plays 3-2 VFA, ball back in the centre with umpire. There's the bounce down. Saru versus Cassetti. Cassetti over the top again, but Saru got the body in, and he's having a big influence on the game. Athanasia comes in for the NT and takes a strong mark over Barry Round. Now the NT looking at their options, and they decide to go the McLean way. He's always makes himself available for the kick out of defence. He shoots it in towards Kadji Dunn. He comes in and takes a strong mark on his chest. He hands off to Willie Rowe. Willie Rowe steps around a player. Now he looks for the running Michael Long. He takes a good mark and decides to play on. Now he goes back one way, then the other, and Briston uses his pace to run around. Now he centres the ball towards Dennis Dunn, and he takes a good mark in the goal square. And the crowd here at Football Park erupts. Nothing much Bobby Evans could have done about that.
Yes, the crowd seems to be fairly partial towards the Territorians at this stage, Kim, as Dunn lines up for that goal. Straight through the centre to take the Territory along to 5-3-33, leading the VFA by 13 points, 3-2-20. Rather brilliant piece of football there from the two little Territorian men to weave the ball around the half-forward line and open up the opportunity with that kick into the goal square. Centering the ball, always a good policy in the situation like that.
Well, you've got to play the percentage football, Jeff. And there we, John, sorry. There we are, 5-3-33, 3 minutes gone. NT lead the VFA 3-20. Very warm and summery conditions here at Football Park. Must really suit the Territory side. The VFA probably more used to playing on heavy, muddy grounds, but they've had a good preparation in the off-season, and they look very fit and very fast. Here's the bounce down again. It's Cassetti against Saru against, and Cassetti wins the tap over the top. Wallace bundled off the ball, but he bounds it well. A poor handball there set up Jeffrey. He rebounds it out. Now he runs the ball back the other way. He tries to kick it out, gets it out eventually to Briston. He's dispossessed. Athanasia paddles it out towards McLean. McLean now. Territory had the numbers there, and he shoots it back inside to where Joe Armatt takes the ball. He's looking for the running player to give it to. Rioli makes himself available. He shoots it into Rioli. Rioli held up there by Saru. Good experienced play by the St Kilda champ there, and he shoots it down towards Dunn. Dunn jostling, but well beaten by the fullback there, and he takes a strong mark. Good play there by Evans. He's going to be a real thorn on the Territory side. There they've got the runners. Wallace, he's covered a lot of ground. The Hawthorn, well, Richmond, whoever, champion, no one knows. He's got no VFL club at the moment. He shoots the ball down the wing towards Athanasia and Round. Athanasia well outmarked by Round. Does the right thing and holds Round up from playing on. No running players there, Jeff.
No, that's a bit unfortunate there, but Barry Round now comes in to take the long kick for goal. Grant O'Reilly in the goal square, unable to take that mark. The ball's to the ground. The Territorians paddle the ball over the boundary line where we wait for the throw-in to take place. The ruck play here should be between the VFA's Barry Round and Cassetti coming down from the centre of the ground there. Round and Cassetti jostle, neither effective at the knock there. The Territory have the ball, unable to get rid of it out of there with Collins. An indiscriminate kick in there is going to be marked. No, unfortunately not marked by there. Played, handballed around by the Territory. Still getting caught in a little bit of trouble, but look like they're going to break out here through a wide handball into the centre, finding Morris Rioli once more. Rioli now looking for an option into the centre of the ground. Has
Ryan Long, he's well beaten there by number 16 as Rioli comes in for the backup tackle. Briston intercepts and it's over to Armat. Armat sets up the loose play. Now he's got Michael Long as the option, the running player. The explosive ruck rover for the NT bursts onto the ball. Now he runs through the centre, steps around one or two players. Well shepherded there by Bobby Jones. Now he runs in an open goal and puts it through, and that's got to be the play of the carnival.
Well, certainly the play of the day at this stage. It was a very good goal there from Michael Long, developed by a good piece of work across the half-back line, which eventually fed the ball out to him, and he dodged very nicely there to take the score along to 6-3 for the Territory, 39, leading the VFA 3-20. It appears at this stage that the running players of the Northern Territory are causing a few problems for the VFA, particularly across this half-forward line there.
6 minutes gone, second quarter, second division Bicentennial Championship. The NT Government Tourist Bureau Buffaloes doing battle with the VFA Rangers, and this is an enormous game of football. And down goes the bounce, Saru and Cassetti. Cassetti gets the hit over the top to Long. Someone held there, one of the VFA players, Saru I think it was, and Saru will be free kicked in the centre of the ground. Motlop on the mark. Saru looking down towards Bergman, goes that way. Bergman cut off from his lead. Oh, bad luck there. Yes, the push was paid there. Athanasia over the shoulder of Fairley, I think it is. Fairley? O'Reilly. And O'Reilly, 45 metres out, slight angle, following breeze. Must be a big chance to kick this. He's had a good influence on the game already, O'Reilly, and is playing quite well. Taking plenty of time over this kick. He's obviously just trying to settle himself down. And
becomes a very important kick, Kim, with the situation the way it is at the moment. Grant O'Reilly has proved fairly effectively across that full forward line as O'Reilly comes in, kicks the ball long and straight through the centre there to take the VFA 4-2-26, trailing the Territory 6-3-39. The difference in style so far has been quite evident. The VFA kicking the ball long, marking and playing their football in that style, where the Territory are whipping the ball around very quickly, trying to create the loose man and trying to run the VFA off their legs.
7.5 minutes gone, second quarter, and the VFA managing to keep in touch. Now, that would appear to be a bounce down there again. And there's Cassetti, he's in hard. Rioli comes through the ball, stepping nicely, gets around two or three players, goes to centre half forward where Kadji Dunn is in the van. He's in front of his opponent. Ball fisted away by Osborne. Good play. Quick kick out there to Saru. Now he hands off, but the ball's been intercepted by Willie Rowe. The South Fremantle flyer. He heads down through centre, has a flying shot at goal over towards Jones. Jones fists the ball away. He loses his footing. Oh, good play there by the VFA, and they kick for touch there, and it came off. It looked like it might blow out there for a while, Jeff.
Yes, the wide kick by Andrew Evans there was almost a dangerous one. But here we have the boundary umpire throwing it in with Saru doing battle with Jones. Jones gets the tap straight down to Morris Rioli, who lines up looking for the lead there, which he finds very conclusively. And we have Dunn now lining up for the Territory's seventh goal. About 20 yards out from goal, directly in front, kicking into a fairly stiff breeze at this stage.
Very hard to score goals at this northern end. You've really virtually got to get the ball to the edge of the square before you can be confident of kicking a goal. Dennis Dunn, normally a fairly accurate kick, has missed a few today. Let's see what he can do. There's the kick on the way. Goal umpire did not move from the centre of the line, and the Territory moves on to 7 goals 3. That takes them on to 45 in advance of the VFA's 4 goals 2. Of the ruck work against Cassetti. The ball holds up. Cassetti wins the hit out. Collins sweeps on it, having an influence on the game now. He decides to handball to himself. That's real Parklands football, but he comes off and he finds Eade. who's been one of the VFA's better players over this carnival. Now he decides to go for the long bomb into the guts. Willie Rowe flies high for the territory. And another free kick there, pushing the back to Barry Round. Round should have no trouble from converting from here, Jeff.
He should have no trouble in making the distance, Kim, but the accuracy of Barry Round is something else to consider. He's certainly kicked a number of goals in this carnival from this distance, and we'll be looking towards one more. Pushed across to the side there, off target for 1 point only. The VFA are now taking Andy Collins off the ground. He's being replaced by Adrian Marcon, running the small players off the bench to try and pace it with the Territories' little men at this stage. We're waiting for the Territories' full-back to kick the ball in. Unable to make a decision about which option to take. He's being presented with 2 or 3 there at the moment. He decides to go for the short one into the pocket, where it's being marked by Michael Long. Long's kick along the half forward flank is being pushed out there, unable to be marked by anyone. It's over the line and out of bounds.
The key to this game will be how well the Territory can defend over the next 10 minutes. That's from the Territory's point of view. From the association, they'd want to be in front at half-time, because with the wind to follow in the third quarter, the Territory could be very dangerous with the following breeze in the third quarter. Riley paddles the ball out. Well intercepted there by the VFA player. He's dispossessed, and we'll see a bounce down on the far wing. 7-3. Territory plays 4-3. VFA 45-27. At the 11-minute mark in the second quarter. There's the bounce down. Rioli fists it out over the top. The VFA player trying to take a dive there. Now it's Tony Vigona comes out with the ball. He shoots it down towards Kadji Dunn. Kadji Dunn in the van, unable to mark, but he brings it to ground. Bobby Jones in there fighting hard for the Territory. Dunn eventually gets the ball out, but it's the VFA through Ezard. He's done well. He's intercepted. Vigona punches it out towards Rioli. Rioli looking for the loose man there. Willie Rowe. He can run into an open goal, but he decides to take the sit and have the shot. About 30 yards out, kicking straight into the teeth of the breeze. He's decided to go for the pass to Mickey Long dead in front, and the VFA's checking, Jeff, dropping off already.
Yes, it's a little bit awkward with these players running all around the ground, creating the loose options, such accurate pinpoint passes, both handball and football, and Long's kick is straight through the centre to take the Territory along to 8-3, 51, leading the VFA 4-3-27.
Territory obviously been told by their coach, KJ Taylor, former VFA Geelong West stalwart, that to use up the clock, short pass at every opportunity and run with the ball. And at the moment, Jeff, I'd have to say it seems to be working quite well.
Yes, the speed with which they've moved the ball around and the control that they've maintained of it when they've been in possession is certainly causing a worry for Terry Wheeler and the boys on the bench. Here we go again with Saru and Caschetti. The VFA clears it through Adrian Marcon out of the centre there with Barry Round contesting. The ball's punched away from him. Mornay has the ball now, looking for an option across the half-forward line. Looks like going to Bergman. Eade running to the loose ball. Is controlling the ball now and has kicked a very nice goal there on the move for the VFA to take the VFA along to 5-3-33, trailing the Territory 8-3-51.
Excellent play from the VFA there. They had the numbers there all the time, and well, those goals have still got to be kicked, and those running ones are hard ones, but he'd certainly put that one away. 5-3 VFA trail the NT 8-3. That's 51 points, plays 33 at the 13.5-minute mark of the second quarter.
And we wait now for the umpire to bounce the ball. Once again, Caschetti and Saru doing the bulk of the work for both sides there. Here we have Saru gets the ball down. It's unable to be controlled out of the centre. Gary Sheldon running to the ball now. And Marcon handballs it across there to Graham Osborne. Osborne's handballs looking for Rodney Wright. Taken away there by the Territory. A late tackle put on that player by Graham Osborne. And a free kick is being played down the field to the Northern Territory. A little bit of a fracas has developed on the half-forward line. A few players coming in to join in the jostle. A little bit of light entertainment for the rather large crowd that's here today compared with the crowd that we had for the game the other day, Kim.
Yes, plenty of fireworks there from both sides. Rioli and Russell Jeffrey certainly giving good as they got, where the NT was warned that the VFL would stack on a blue if they started to struggle. Ninny Briston was free kicked there after the late tackle. The 15-yard has been applied, and it looks like the NT getting another 15-yard as number 23, for the association, showing Gary Sheldon.
Sheldon came on to replace Martin just a couple of minutes ago.
Refusing to get back on the mark, but a poor kick into the forward line for the Cherokee there sees Saru. He hands off, and now they've got the runners here, and this is when the VFA are at their most dangerous. A flying kick out on the wing, but there's nobody there. He would have to go out of bounds to be effective. The ball holds up as Matt gets to the ball. Now he turns around, has a look at his options. There's not a lot of them there. He has to run around a couple of players. Now he decides to go inboard to Rioli. Rioli pushed off the ball, but good play there by McLean. He intercepts. Now there's hands out to Brian Long. Brian Long decides to go long to Bobby Jones in the goal square to see what he can do. He's high up over the top, done in front. Good play there, pushed over. Michael Long has the ball. He's set upon. He hands off back. Now there's a running player through the centre in Tony Vigona. He has a flying shot and has missed 1 point. But a good build-up by the Cherokee there, Jeff.
Yes, certainly was. Fortunately for the VFA, the final player, Vigona, was unable to convert that to a goal. We have now Robbie Evans waiting for an option. He comes short into the pocket where he finds Rodney Wright. Rodney Wright looking down towards the wing where he's hoping to find Ian Fairley. Over the top, the ball's punched away from Fairley.
Willie Rowe for the Cherokee. He fends off a player. Back into Rioli in the centre. Rioli sets up the sweeping handball to Cassetti. He's caught in possession. Oh, I don't agree with that decision. And...
been taken away now from the territory. Unfortunately, Cassetti manhandled Adrian Marcon, and Marcon now with a kick going straight through the centre where he's looking for Barry Round. Round up in with the ball on the ground has been knocked out, where the territory have been able to... No, the ball hasn't been cleared out, and the umpires decided to come in and bounce the ball.
Territory managed to get the numbers there. And, oh, gee, the VFA had the two loose men in the goal square there. If they could have got it out, they might have got the goal. Here's the bounce down. It's Cassetti versus Round. Cassetti, strong body work, puts Round out of business as Matt tries to kick the ball out the centre. The VFA firing all of their guns now. They realise how important it is that they get quick goals. Ball kicked down towards Bergman. He's unable to handle cleanly as Ahelia comes out for the Territory. He shoots the ball out towards Michael Long, and the ball bounces over the line in front of the member stand. Quite a good crowd here, Jeff, for this second division grand final.
Yes, considering that the first day that this carnival began, we were able to count the crowd, and for your first game there were 97 people in attendance, and that included the players off the ground.
There's the throw-in. Cassetti and a few others are battling there with Round. It's Ezard. He shows good pace. He's well tackled by Rioli and bundled over the boundary line. And we'll see a throw-in. There's another fight on there as the VFA trying these niggling tactics, trying to unsettle the Territory players. All very predictable and well planned for an advance. Umpire goes over to break it up. 17 minutes gone, second quarter, second division final, and the Territory has attacked very effectively into this strong breeze. Here's the throw-in. It'll be Cassetti versus Saru, and they've had a battle royal. Cassetti finds the front position. Good tap out. The VFA takes a dive there as Long swoops on the loose one. He traps the ball very cleverly, puts a dummy on, another dummy. Is now dispossessed. Good shepherd from McLean. He shoots the ball into Jeffrey. Jeffrey running hard. He hands off to McLean. McLean gives the ball to Willie Rowe. The Territory starting to showboat a bit. They've got the numbers out there. They need to find the loose man, and ignores the lead of Jones, kicks it down towards Dunn, but the VFA have got
Rodney
back in
Wright
defence
now
well.
comes out of defence, kicks the ball long to where Paul Dudley is running onto a ball with about 20 yards clear all the way around him, waiting for the ball to sit up, is unable to get it to sit up. He'll have to go in and pick it up now. Does so, kicks it off where Ralph Bergman has led. The kick's over Bergman's head and has been safely marked there by the Territory fullback. He's looking for an option to come out onto the half-back line there.
Rowan Hellier it is, and he goes for the short one into McLean. Oh, bad kick. Hits Rodney Eden. He's a good shot for goal. He'd have to be a chance from there, Jeff.
Yes, certainly so, but this is Terry Wallace with the ball, and Wallace comes in with a long bomb right into the goal square, but pushed it across the front of the goal for 1 point, which takes the VFA along to 5-4-34, trailing the Northern Territory 8-4-52.
I think the VFA would have preferred Ede to had that one. Wallace not renowned for his finishing skills.
Given the result, perhaps that might be so, Kim.
Okay, Jeff, very tight game here. 3 goals advantage to the Territory at the 19-minute mark. If they can defend for the next 3 or 4 minutes, they'd have to go in with a big chance in this second division final. John, let's see what happens here. Here's the kick in. It's down towards Greg Bruce. Ball fisted away from him, over the top. Jeffrey threw hard. He paddles the ball in front of him. Now he gathers, fends off a player. Handball's too hard for McLean. Gives the VFA a great opportunity. A raking handball down there. They decide to go backwards to Saru. Too slow. He loses it, throws the ball out. and unsighted by the umpire. And there's the ball down towards Sheldon. He tries to hook it back inside and does it very well. And
Riley now leading into the forward pocket, looking for an option in the goal square, and he has Barry Round marking 2 yards out, and turns around, plays on and kicks the goal to give the VFA their 6th goal and get them right back into touch with the Territory. 6-4-34 the VFA, trailing the Territory by 2 goals, 8-4-52. A much better passage of play from the VFA there, Kim.
Good play, and the centering kick was just what the VFA required there. They go on to 6 goals 4, 40 points, trailing the Territory by 12 points, 8 goals 4. We move into time on in the second quarter of the second division championship final. Tony Pastor comes on.
VFA have made a couple of changes, Kim. Tony Pastor is going into the back line, and Ian Fairley has moved down to full forward, and Ralph Bergman has been taken from the field of play at this stage as the umpire bounces the ball, and Cassetti comes over the top. Saru takes the ball away from the centre, looking for the play there. The Territory take a mark, play on through long. Alaniza running to the ball now for the VFA, being bustled out there by the Territory players, and the ball is taken away down the wing there by the Territories, handballed in front of them. The VFA to come back through the half-back line through Alaneed. Alaneed's blocked the ball out, and Adrian Marcon has the kick down, which finds Paul Dudley on the VFA's half-forward line.
Umpire Morrow missed a certain free kick there when McLean had the VFA player caught in possession. The play on call, a very doubtful one. There's the ball kicked down towards the goal square. Athanasia misses the chest mark that he should have taken. Rodney Wright comes out with the ball. He's tackled in possession, and that was umpire Morrow, so he must have been in possession. And there's the kick back into the centre of the ground to the leading Vagona. He leads well. Now he looks one way, then the other. No options on. Probably better to kick the ball across the centre of the ground where he kicks it towards Jones. Jones fights hard for position. Osborne, too strong for Briston on that occasion. Cassetti ties up Damien Burdo. Now it's out to Rowe. Rowe out to Kadji Dunn. Dunn to Pastor. Dunn turns inside. Now he's got Dunn there in support. Goes back to Motlop. Motlop has a chance to go straight. Goes around his opposite number and decides to shoot it back towards Briston. Briston would have to do incredibly well to get that ball. Oh, an airy there from Graham Osborne as Willie Rowe tackles hard. And great desperation by both sides there, Jeff.
Excellent piece of football there at that stage, and the VFA had really found their straps in the last few minutes, I think, Kim, to get right back into this game. And the ball's bounced down there with Saru and Jones doing a battle. Saru palms it down, looking for the rover, unable to find it. Knocked over by Michael Long to Tony Pastore. Pastore has the ball inside, trying to get it out, unable to do so. There's a great battle on the ground. The umpires to be credited there, left to go on. Collins with the ball now, running away through centre half-back, coming into the centre square, looking for an option across the half-forward line. Looks to Mornay. Mornay is up, outmarked there.
Damien Burdo, the NT flanker, caught horribly out of position, set the play up. Now it's McLean. He looks for the options. He decides to run wide to the flank where Rioli is in the van. The ball fisted away from him. Good play, but over the shoulder was the call. Free kick. The ball did not go back over the mark, and that was a very promising move for the Territory held up there. Now Rioli. The VFA have been able to get the numbers back, and they'll be looking to lock this ball in. Rioli looks for Dennis Dunn. Now he decides to go in that direction out towards the wing. Dunn pushes his opposite number out. Oh, well, I suppose it's within the rules. 5 yards the ball must be, 5 metres under the new rule. He hipped his opponent out and took the good mark. Almost impossible to kick a goal from there. So the NT would be looking to probably have the flyer in the square. Obviously Bobby Jones and Kadji Dunn in for the crumbs. Here's the kick from Dunn. Nice strong kick, but it's out of bounds on the full. You really can't afford to let those go out of bounds on the full. They must be either in a scoring position or inside, because you've now given the VFA the running opportunity out of defence.
Free kick is to be taken by Tony Pastore. Pastore's kick is found a VFA target on the other side of the ground, waiting for an option to come up the ground there for that Paul Dudley's kick. He's gone for the long one, where the 3 or 4 Territory players have outnumbered the VFA there. They're taking the ball away, kick off the ground, and that umpire has once again found a free kick there for the Territory. The Territory looking to centre the ball.
Moschini it is. Moschini straightens the ball up to McLean. Now he runs through half forward, kicks to the goal square where Jones is fought front position and takes the strong chest mark. Poor defence there by the VFA. Bobby Jones, not a very reliable kick though, and I would say this would be no certainty. 24 minutes gone in this second quarter, second division championship final.
Very timely goal for the Territory at this stage if Bob Jones is able to convert this relatively simple opportunity for the Territory, which he does do, and they move along to 9-4-58, leading the VFA 6-4-40 at about the 25-minute mark of this shortened second quarter, bearing in mind that these quarters for this Bicentennial Championship are 20 minutes plus time on, as against the real time of 25 minutes plus time on, Kim.
9 goals for, plays 6 goals for, moving up to the 25-minute mark of the second quarter. Been a few hold-ups, a few punch-ups in this quarter, plenty of goals kicked, so it's been good football, champagne football in this championship final. Cassetti threw well, handballs out to Willie Rowe, goes the wrong way, then goes the other way. He must have radar in his mind. He shoots the ball out to Mark Motlop. Motlop takes a good mark in front of Collins. Collins, good play there, holds him up. Now takes the 15-yard, Motlop. No 15-yard paid there. Very poor umpiring. Player was infringed with after he marked the ball. Should have been paid. But that's maybe a little bit biased there. There's the running play again by the Territory. Over to Moschini, the Sturt follower, former St Mary's junior. He shoots the ball in the forward line, and Tony Vagona takes a brilliant mark in the middle of the pack. If this boy can stick it out at the Swans, John, he'd have to have a very promising future.
Yes, we've been most impressed with his performance thus far in this championship, Kim, and certainly looks a promising type to play league football as Vagona settles in now, kicking into the eye of the breeze, about 25-30 metres out, makes no mistake there, and forcing the score along for the Territory to 10-4, 64, leading the VFA now by 4 goals, 6-4, 40.
26 minutes gone, very long quarter here at the football park in Adelaide. Second quarter, Australian Football Championship. The NT Government Tourist Bureau Buffaloes doing it in great fashion after a very quiet first quarter. The VFA Rangers, Collins there trying to cause a bit of a blue with Mark Motlop, but keep your mind on the job, fellas. You're here to play football, not fight. Cassetti up over the top, good tap down. Well snared by Brian Long. He kicks it off the ground towards Tony Vagona. It bounces back into Long. Now Motlop has the ball. He goes inboard to Kadji Dunn. Kadji Dunn changes his mind. He loses the ball. Should have gone the other way. Surioli over the top and in the back of Saru. Not paid. Poor umpiring. Now it's Wallace out. He's out with a hard one. Territory tackling hard as Surioli battles the ball out towards Briston. Now the VFA Blacks don't seem to want to pick the ball up. And it's Osborne. Too slow. Briston sweeps on the loose one. Runs into the goal. And saved by the Bill was never true there, John.
Yes, but fortunately his kick missed just as well. Yes, a very good quarter there by the Territory to move along to 10-4, 64. Their speed, their ability to palm the ball off to each other, running around the ground, has caused the VFA some concern. And we'll be looking to the half-time interval to try and rectify some of our concerns that we've got there. At this stage, the Territory have had good control of the ball when they've had use of the ball when it's been free. Their handball and their pinpointed foot passes have been very, very good, and they've moved the ball down the ground well, and they have been able to convert a lot of their chances. In the earlier two games, Kim, you'd have to agree that one of the weaknesses of the Territory play was their indiscriminate kicking for goal.
Yes, the Territory's finishing has improved 200% here in this second division final. 10 goals for, plays 6-4 with a following breeze in the third quarter. The game isn't over yet. They'd have to convert several opportunities in the third quarter and then defend grimly to win the second division championship. But at the moment, NT playing good football in this second division championship final.
Territory footy from the vault is thanks to these valued partners.
We're here for when the heavens open and the winds howl. We're here for when the water just won't stop. We're here for the wet and we're here for the dry. We're here because we know there's nowhere else you'd rather be.
And there's nowhere else we'd rather be either. GIO Home Insurance. We're for Territorians.
Time to escape, 'cause I'm in need of warmer weather. Sail upon the stream to find there's someplace better. And I'm going far and wide. Ooh.
Great Northern Brewing Co., the beer from up here.
Consider the applicable PDS before making an investment decision.
Third quarter here with the VFA 6-4 trailing the Territory 10-4. The ball's bounced. O'Reilly has gone into the centre bounce for the VFA. Gets the ball down there to Andy Collins, and Andy Collins that effort with a free kick. He hands the ball off to Gary Sheldon. Sheldon's kick down to the half-forward line, looking for Tony Pastore in the forward line, and he takes a nice mark there. Short passes it now to find Ralphie Bergman over his head. Bergman butters up again, unable to do anything with the ball, and is going to be penalised by Jeff Morrow there for holding the ball. Territory has the ball now and called play on by Morrow. Back into the centre of the ground where there's a one-on-one contest with Kadji Dunn now with the ball. Handballs it back, and that Territory player is penalised for holding the ball. The VFA is trying to take it away there, but the umpire's calling it back, and Andy Collins has the free kick right in the centre of the ground. Looking to restart play again now. Collins out to the half-forward line where Round has front position and takes the mark there.
Very clever play by Round there. He shielded the ball well with his body. Now they hand off
to Wright,
out to Rodney Wright, a former listed medal winner, and he's shot the ball down to the forward pocket. Incorrect there?
No, well, certainly Rodney Wright hasn't won a listed medal, but it was Wright that's passed the ball out to Mornay in the forward pocket. Mornay now lining up right deep in the pocket, kicking into the eye of the wind there. It'll be a lovely goal if he can convert this one. Gone close, but pushed it across to the wrong side, and the umpire signals a point there, with the VFA now moving along to 6-5-41, trailing the Territory 10-4-64. A fairly promising opening from the VFA there, Kim.
Very constructive. They had the numbers around the fall of the ball. They're hitting the packs hard and stopping the Territory, getting their free running game going. There's the kick in from Hellier. Ball marked strongly out there by Paul Martin, the former South Adelaide player. Now Martin looking where he's going to deliver the ball. He goes for the short one. Oh, he's chipped it up too high for Bergman. Greg Bruce in front. He fists the ball down. The VFA looking for the options, and they found one there. O'Reilly. He rakes the ball out. And there's the kick. He's just Russ Thornton too slow there, dispossessed by McLean. He shoots it back into the centre. But the VFA have got that line set up well. Now they decided they must run the ball if they're going to kick goals. And Collins playing very well. He shoots the ball in the centre. Now Matt has it. He's looking at the options. He decides to go out towards the flank, kicks it down towards the wing there where the ball is fisted away by Tony Vigona. Good play by Wright there. He sold the dummy very effectively. Shoots the ball over big Barry Round as Damien Burdo threads his way through the pack. He's unable to find enough distance with a kick and has been dealt with after he got rid of it. There's
Rodney Wright's kick is out to the half-forward line, finds Terry Wallace. Wallace with the ball now on the half-forward line, steadying play down, looking for a lead from the forwards. Is unable to find one at this stage. Kicks it up there where Barry Round is up in the air, almost pulls the mark in. Alan Izard has the ball, hands it off, finds Andy Collins. Andy Collins' handball isn't very effective. Drags it back under him and palms it out to O'Reilly. O'Reilly's handball across, looks for James but finds Alan Eade. Alan Eade's kick back into the goal square where he's looking for Ralphie Bergman, who's under the ball now. Second bite, Alan Izard runs into an open goal. Unfortunately, he's pushed the ball right across and the ball's being kicked out of bounds. There were two Territory players shielding the goal there, and Izard was unable to thread the ball through.
Izard under enormous amount of pressure there, unable to convert. But the VFA showing that you can kick goals into this breeze, attacking very confidently. McLean to bring the ball back into play. He goes long down the wing towards where it's Round and Athanasia in front. Round fists it away from Athanasia. Athanasia fighting for the ball there with Pastore, and there's a bounce up on the right forward flank for the VFA. 3 minutes gone in this third quarter. VFA doing all the attacking. There will be
a very promising start for the VFA, Kim. There have been a number of positional changes. Most importantly, Grant O'Reilly has come into the centre ruck. Jeff Saru has taken off the ground. Alan Eade now with the ball, plays on. The call wasn't for a mark there. Barry Round's handball to Terry Wallace. Terry Wallace is kicking up into the goal square where the ball is marked by the Territory's full back there, looking to lay it off, unable to do so. Handballs it now into the centre of the ground, and the ball's taken away from the Territory.
Russell Jeffrey, the St Kilda defender, he shoots the ball out in the half-forward line. Good play there. Ball well read by Motlop, unable to handle. He batters back up, battling well with Osborne. Osborne infringed. Motlop, poor play there. Had the run of the ball and lost it. Now the VFA out there with Sheldon. He shoots it across to Wallace. Wallace, he goes inboard. Good hands to Martin. Martin, plenty of fresh legs. He lines it up. and he has missed the golden opportunity, and the VFA must be cursing their bad luck.
VFA are peppering away now. They've had 3 deliberate shots, or 3 running shots of goal, hardly deliberate, and have been unable to convert any of them at this stage. The ball's kicked back in there by the Territory fullback, and the ball's fisted away in the centre of the ground, unable to gain control. Adelaide kicks it across there. 2 players are jostling for the ball. It's been handled back there. Terry Wallace has handballs it over his shoulder. Morris Rioli with the ball, twisting and turning through the centre, and now finds 2 Territory players on their own, unguarded on this side of the ground.
Paul Motlop has the ball. He hands off to Michael Long. He steps around a number of players, finds Armat unmarked at half forward. He runs into an open goal, and he has missed. No, he hasn't. It's a goal. And that happens so often in football, John, that a team will attack and attack and attack, get a poor return for their effort. The opposition races the ball down the ground and kicks the easy goal.
Yes, there were and bounce with O'Reilly doing battle there for the VFA. Handed away to Collins. Collins' handball finds Martin. Martin's kick out into the half-forward line where there's no VFA player at all. The Territory fumbles the ball but is able to bring it back into the centre of the ground through Armat. Armat now looking for an option in the centre. Alan Izard flying for the VFA, unable to control it with Rioli, but Kadji Dunn has the ball, twisting and weaving. Long, indiscriminate kick down to the forward line. Michael Lung waiting for the result. Punched away there. Bobby Jones has the ball, handballs it across to the centre where he tapped across by Rioli.
Michael McLean has a flying shot at goal. It's going very close. It's a brilliant goal for the Footscray running player, and that's just the sort of opening the Territory were looking for in this third quarter. NT Government Tourist Bureau Buffaloes, they move on to 12 goals 4. Just see if the scoreboard's being adjusted there. Yes, it is. 12 goals 4, 76. Now some 6 goals in front of the VFA. 6 goals 6, 42. That was unbelievably talented play there from Kadji Dunn. Across the Rioli, the tap on to McLean. McLean finished it off with a lovely running goal.
Yes, they certainly have made the most of their opportunities this time. 2 times into the forward line and 2 lovely goals have resulted. As the ball's thrown down into the centre, the Territory's ruckman there is palmed away by Alan Eads. Long kick into the centre half forward position. Barry Round up, unable to take the mark. Barry Round knocks it down now, finds Ralphie Bergman. Bergman's handball to Mornay. Mornay handballs it off to Alan Eade, who twists back over his shoulder. And once again, the VFA are off target, which is, just seems to be symptomatic of their play at the moment. They're getting the ball down into the goal square area, unable to convert them. The VFA now 6-7-43, trailing by 33 points, 12-4-76 the Territory. The fullback kicks the ball into the centre half forward position. Up, no one's able to take advantage of that. Terry Wallace swooping on the ball now. Has gained control of it, handballs it to Ross Thornton. Ross Thornton's looking for Bruce Mornay. Mornay up in front and takes a very nice mark. Plays on there now. Kicks the ball back into the centre of the ground where we have a number of VFA players up, but outmarked there by the Territories.
Russell Jeffrey, the St Kilda defender, he shoots the ball inboard to Greg Bruce. He mishandles Cassetti back on hard there as the Territory come out through a number of players there and bouncing off each other as Joe Armat, the Claremont flyer. He shoots the ball back to the centre of the ground where Kadji Dunn forces his way to the front of the pack, but fairly too strong in the air, takes a good grab. He looks out to the wide running play. Ball intercepted there by Athanasi. He punches it down to Rioli. Rioli being interfered with from behind there. Now he gets tackled without the ball, but quite rightly was the call from the umpire, and the play on move comes back to Ross Thornton. He's in the centre of the ground. Now Thornton shoots long, and they've got the numbers here. Hellier well held out there by Ralph Bergman.
And Mornay has taken the mark. Bergman certainly did the good work there on Hellier to keep him out of that marking contest. Mornay was able to come across in front of the pack and take a nice mark. Around about 25 to 30 yards out from goal on a slight angle, but kicking into this fairly stiff bruise from the southern end of the ground. Mornay over the ball now, comes in on his right foot, kicks and has pushed the ball sideways once more. Mornay a little disappointed in the result of that, and the VFA now 6-8-44, trailing the Territory 12-4-76.
9 minutes gone, third quarter. Australian National Football League Championships, the Bicentennial Carnival, the 1988 Championships here at Football Park. As Hellier brings the ball back into play, he kicks wide out in the direction of Armat. Armat, the big fly, and a spectacular mark to the
mark of the day so far.
The Darwin, former Darwin player, currently playing in the NTFL with Darwin, but irregular with Claremont. He shoots into Kadji Dunn. Kadji Dunn has the ball fisted away from him by Fairley. The free kick has been paid to Dunn in front of Ian Fairley from North Melbourne. And there's Dunn's long screw punt down towards Paul Motlop. He has the sit. He's well pushed out as Bobby Jones crashes through the pack. Vagona swoops on the loose one. Paul Motlop in there, as is Morris Rioli, and the Territory got the numbers there very quickly. VFA getting back now through O'Reilly. He'll do the ruck work in opposition to Bob Jones, the former Waratah junior, now currently with St Kilda. Jones hits it out towards Briston. He overruns the ball. Ezard has a flying shot. Back towards Motlop. Oh, Wallace, good play. He swooped on that one. He was 1,000-to-1 to get that. Now he's looking for the 15. He might have won an Oscar, but he didn't win a free kick from umpire Trembath. There's the ball shot out to a wobbly old kick. Matt's in the van. He fists it away from Paul Dudley, and it's over the boundary line. The VFA struggling to get forward at this stage. They'd have to kick goals quickly if they're to get back into this game.
As the boundary umpire prepares to throw the ball in, O'Reilly doing battle there for the VFA. Over the top came Bob Jones then. It's been taken away by McLean. McLean down towards the full forward position where the VFA fullback Robbie Evans is being free kicked there for a push in the back by the Dennis Dunn, the full forward for the Territory side. A lull in play now as the ball's being moved back to Robbie Evans. Umpire blows time off and away goes Evans. He's going to dummy the handball over to Osborne, does so. Osborne is kicked back through the centre of the ground where Barry Round is positioning himself, unable to take the mark. Alan knocks the ball across, handball by Round to Izard's ineffective. The ball's on the ground now. Tony Pastor had the ball taken out of him by the Territory. An indiscriminate kick along the ground there. Michael McLean picks it up and takes the ball back into centre half forward.
The ball jostled free from Tony Vagona, and Nenny Briston runs into an open goal, and that finishes that one off very nicely. It probably wasn't copybook stuff. Vagona should have held the mark, but Briston read it brilliantly off hands, shot clear of the pack, and another goal for the Northern Territory. 12 minutes gone, third quarter, Australian National Football League Championships, Bicentennial Carnival. Northern Territory, 13 goals 4, 82, lead the VFA, 6 goals 8, 44. Unless my mathematics is quite wrong, that is a 38-point advantage to the Territory.
Yes, a clear 6-goal break at the moment as umpire Morrows prepares to bounce down the ball where Cassetti and O'Reilly join in battle once more. O'Reilly's knock is quite clear for the VFA there. Collins handballs it off to Wallace. Wallace towards Paul Martin. Paul Martin's kick along to the half-forward flank looking for Alan Izard. Izard takes a flying mark there in front of Michael McLean. Izard with the ball now, looking towards kicking it into the full forward position. We have Round battling for the VFA, taped off by Bergman. Bergman passes it across to Mornay. Mornay's kick is into the forward pocket. The VFA jostling through there with Armat being free kicked by the umpire for being tackled without possession of the ball. He switches play right across in front of the VFA goal now.
Michael Athanasi has the run of the play. Now the Territory looking for the options. Athanasi decides to go back into centre to find the unmarked Briston. He's on his own. He decides to step around. McLean backing up superbly. Goes for a bounce. This bloke is the Rolls Royce of Territory footballers, and he shoots the ball down towards Dunn. Dunn backs into his opponent. Ball well fisted away from him. Motlop swoops on the loose one. Paul Motlop, that is, back over his shoulder. And that's a great goal by the Nightcliff bowler, Paul Motlop. But all the hard work done there by Dennis Dunn. That might sound a bit strange, but that's the way it came out. 13 minutes gone, 13 and a half minutes gone, third quarter. Territory shot clear to a commanding 14-4, 88 points to the Victorian Football Association, 6 goals, 8-44. John, the Territory's pace really starting to trouble the VFA.
Yes, it would appear that might be the trouble, Kim. They've made the most of their opportunities. They've gone down there 4 times this quarter and they've converted each opportunity with a very clear goal. As Briston breaks through the centre again, kicks the ball long down into the forward line. Ross Thornton there does battle with his opponent and takes the mark, handballs it off to Graham Osborne, his teammate at Fitzroy. Osborne's kick was looking for Paul Martin there. Martin has the ball, handballs it back to Osborne. It's tapped across there for the VFA, and Ian Fairley's kick is coming into centre half forward where Tony Pastore is free kick for being held while trying to gain possession of that ball. Pastore now kicks the ball into the forward pocket where there is no VFA person at all, and it is marked there by the Territory's full-back.
Kadji Dunn calling for the ball wide on the flank as the Territory decide to go the short option to Michael McLean. McLean with good hands across to Mickey Long. This free-running player's had a fantastic carnival. He shoots it down to Bobby Jones. Jones steps inside, goes one way or the other, then gets around Rodney Wright there fairly easily. He shoots the ball back in towards Dunn. The fullbacks read the play superbly. Ball fisted down as Thornton brings the ball out, but only as far as Mick Long. He sells 2 or 3 dummies, and now he's found Dennis Dunn all unmarked at half forward. And I don't think there's really a great deal you can do to defend against that, John.
Once they have the ball with those skills, and their foot passing is so pinpointed that it makes it very hard for the defenders there, Kim.
Territory making a change here with reliable defender Greg Bruce being replaced by Brent Hughes. Brent Hughes from Catherine. Here's Dunn lining up the goals. See what he can do with this one. It's a nice long kick. It looks like he's pulled it well over and just snuck in for a behind. NT, Government Tourist Bureau Buffaloes, move along to 14 goals 5 in advance of the VFA 6 goals 8. Now the VFA quick to get the play. Oh, poor kick, put Osborne under tremendous pressure. Well tackled by Dunn. Gets out of it well low. Over to right, looking for the support player. None forthcoming. Kicks it back towards Fairley. Fairley takes a strong mark there as the Territory ruckman Cassetti impeded by the VFA runner, and the umpire missed that. Here we see the Fairley kicking the ball down the flank, down towards the half-forward line. Brent Hughes in front takes a strong mark for the Territory. Read the play well there. Now they've got Cassetti unmarked. He decides to go wide to Motlop. Oh, Motlop had wanted to fight hard for the ball here. He should have stayed on his feet and didn't, and could pay the penalty. Paul Martin running well. Rioli puts the pressure on now as Martin goes inboard, but it's a poor kick, and it's intercepted there by a number of Territory defenders, and the Territory player free kicked, tackled without one VFA player left to fight one out on that situation, and he had no other option but try and retard the running player. Territory number of options here. They decide to go for the bomb though. It's a long screw punt out towards the flank, and Ezard, he's having a very quiet game as Alan Ezard, as Tony Vagona runs onto the loose ball. He kicks well smothered though. It's shot down to the forward line as the VFA defender there, and I can't quite pick Ross Thornton, former Fitzroy star, still with Fitzroy? Current Fitzroy star, and he hooks the ball out in the right forward pocket. Strong breeze here at Football Park. 17-minute mark of the second quarter. Territory lead 14-5 to 6-8. Bobby Jones and Barry Round battling. Indeterminate. The ruck decisions have gone neither way and haven't had a big influence on the game. And there it shoots back in towards the centre of the ground where Brent Hughes takes another strong mark. His anticipation and experience on this ground starting to show. Cassetti finds the ball. He hands off to Michael Long, who always seems to find the right spot on the ground. He puts the ball out in front of Dunn, and Dunn takes an easy mark. Territory starting to really run the ball into attack with confidence. Dennis Dunn, not... well, he hasn't had a tremendous return for the amount of shots he's had over this carnival. He's kicked his bags, but he's really kicked a lot of points as well, John.
This is one that he should be able to kick, Kim, with that win right behind him, although early in the game he missed one from a very similar position. Dunn crouches low over the ball, prepares himself to, as he comes in to kick this goal for the Territory, and they move along to 15-5, 95, leading the VFA 6-8, 44.
18 minutes gone, third quarter, Australian National Football League Championship Carnival here at Football Park. 18 minutes gone, third quarter in the championship, and the Territory playing some champagne football. But it's not over yet, and any side that stops at the three-quarter mark is usually punished by the opposition. But the VFA struggling to find a winner in attack. They've brought Bergman out to centre-half forward. He could be the answer. He's on Michael Athanasia. Bergman, a very slippery customer, has been unable to get many opportunities at the goal front and may be able to create something. Rowan wins the tap out, but it's out towards Michael Long. He steps around his opposing number. Rioli throws the handball out to Willie Rowe. Willie Rowe running through the centre, has space to move, kicks down towards the goal square. We're Dunn in front, has the ball fisted away from him. Motlop swoops on the loose ball. Now he straightens up, kicks around his body. Oh, and he's hit the post. Bad luck there, Paul Motlop. NT move along to 15 goals 6, 96. VFA 6 goals 8, 44. The VFA run the ball out of defence to Izard. He runs well. He steps inside the Willie Rowe tackle. He's done well. Kicks it out towards Pastor, who takes the strong mark in front of Brent Hughes. Now, poor handball there by Pastor. Put his teammate Ronnie James under enormous pressure, but he shows his class. That's why he's at Footscray, and he's done well. Russell Jeffrey in front. The ball fisted away from him. Bergman, let's see what he can do. He has a flying shot, and I think he has put it through. Yes, he has. Good shot, Ralphie Bergman. Great goal for the VFA. That's their first for the third quarter. They move on to 6 goals 8, 50, trailing NT 15-6, 96.
That was a much better passage of play for the VFA there, Kim. And this time unlike earlier forays forward, they were rewarded with a goal. As we wait for the umpires to bring the ball back to the centre, Ralph Bergman's goal then was the VFA's 7th to take them along to 7-8-50. As we wait for umpire Jeff Morrow to bounce the ball, where Barry Round has now moved into the centre of the ground to act as the VFA ruckman, still in contest with Cachetto from the Territory. Ball's down, 2 big men fly for the ball. Barry Round wins again the top, but Happett is taken away by the Territory. At least it was handled by the Territory there. Joey Armat pushes the ball out in front of him. It's kicked across the half-back line there, where now Ronnie James is under the front of the ball and takes a...
Russell Jeffrey
has marked over the top of him. Been paid there as Russell Jeffrey handballs it across. The handball comes back to Jeffrey now and has been free kicked because he's being handled without having possession of the ball. Jeffrey having his second attempt here to move the ball across that half-back line. Looking for an option.
Very static situation here. Mickey Long makes himself available in the centre, and there's the short pass. He has to have to gather the ball. He steps around his opponent quite easily there and finds Morris Rioli on his own. And what better player to run the ball into attack could we have than Rioli? He looks towards Dennis Dunn, puts the ball in front of him. The full back did very well there, Bobby Evans. He decided to try and cut the leads off, and he's done well as Alan Ezard and Tony Vagona tumble the ball over in the left forward pocket for the Territory. Good play there by Bobby Evans.
Good play. He had a little option then, but to try and fist the ball away to give himself a second chance at the ball. As we come to the 21.5-minute mark, the VFA rover there takes the ball, is brought to the ground, but the umpire decides that he will take control of it and bounce it there on the half-forward line for the Territory.
Once again, it will be Round, but this time in opposition to Bob Jones for the Territory. Round with great strength, but Jones fights back for the front position. He doing very well there as Tony Vagona as the VFA players stacks on the mill, to use an old football cliche. 21, nearly the 22-minute mark of the third quarter in these Australian Football Championships. NT lead, 15 goals 6, 96 to the VFA, 7 goals 8, 50. The ball comes out of that pack, shot out to Mickey Long. He steps inside, over to Willie Rowe. Willie Rowe's flying shot is offline, and 1 point is the result.
Tim, we have been very impressed with their ball handling skills, and once again there was another example of the very quick speed with which they were able to get the ball to the feet. Unfortunately for Willie Rowe, it wasn't converted to a goal, which provides the VFA now with an opportunity of taking the ball back to the other end of the ground. Robbie Evans looking for a short option in the forward pocket, finds Paul Martin. Paul Martin now kicking a long ball down towards the wing, where his target is Ian Fairley. Fairley from behind is unable to mark. The ball hits the ground and is run over the boundary line there on the outer side of the ground, waiting for the boundary umpire to bring it back into play.
22 minutes gone, should be not that far away from the siren in this third quarter. The NT Government Tourist Bureau Buffaloes doing it in good style. There's Round in front. Jones, and he nullifies it. Out to the running Osborne. Osborne over to Wallace. Wallace shoots it inboard. Damien Burdo for the Territory. Chips in front of his opposite number, takes a good mark. Motlop makes himself available. He decides to run the ball down the far flank. Looking for his options now. Shoots it down towards Kedgie Dunn. Dunn, one hand's unable to mark. Swoops on the ball as Wallace comes. No, Rodney Martin it is. He comes out. Good kick out there towards the half-forward line, where once again it's Damien Burdo in front. The ball's fisted away from him. Motlop takes a dive. Got to stay on your feet at this level of competition, or you do not get much help from the umpires. Anyone trying those sort of tactics has not been rewarded in this match. Quite rightly so. Good umpiring has generally been the rule in this match. Some of the supporters here very parochial in favour of the Territory. Let's see, Territory starting to bog down a bit here at the moment, unable to get the ball running. There's Russell Jeffrey. He hands off to Athanasia. Athanasia back into Willie Rowe. He gives it over to Hughes. Good hands from the Territory. Hughes steps inside. Now he looks at handing off. He's run too far, though, and umpire Morrow on the spot has free kicked against him. Looks like Rossi Thornton with a free kick. Paul Martin. He runs around his opposite number, shoots it back in towards Tony Pastor. Territory destroys their long, steps out of the tackle, handballs over to Rioli. Rioli pushes it back towards McLean. Hughes butters up for the Territory. Territory getting the numbers there. Rioli shoots it across towards Motlop, and he takes a strong mark in front of the pack. Too far out to score, but quite a good quarter for the Territory. 15 goals 7, 97. They lead the VFA 7 goals 8, 50. Motlop usually quite a good kick of the ball. But
at least he's going to give himself a chance, Kim. And with that bruise behind him, I guess if he puts it up and hopes that the bruise will float it down.
Well, it's not a bad-looking kick. It's it just fell short and punched away by the VFA defence. 24 minutes gone in that quarter. She's all over the third quarter. The VFA, with this following breeze in the last quarter, will be looking to come out and fire all of their guns in their attempt to run down the territory.
Yes, we're looking at a 7-goal deficit going into the last quarter, and the VFA certainly an 8-goal deficit going into the last quarter, and the VFA will have to really get their running game together, just so that they are able to enjoy in this contest and make the final scoreline look a little bit more flattering towards the VFA. It's been the Territory's running players that have caused the problems for the VFA. And unfortunately, when the VFA's had possession of the ball, they haven't been able to make use of it. Early in that quarter, a couple of chances at goal were frittered away, and soon after that, the Territory side moved into the forward line, and once they had it down there, they had the loose player running around, opened up the play and were able to convert their opportunities very accurately, and they moved away from the VFA that quarter to move into a commanding position coming into the last quarter. 15-7, 97 the Territory, lead the VFA 7-8-50.
Territory footy from the vault is thanks to these valued partners.
We're here for when the heavens open and the winds howl. We're here for when the water just won't stop. We're here for the wet, and we're here for the dry. We're here because we know there's nowhere else you'd rather be.
And there's nowhere else we'd rather be either. TIO Home Insurance. We're for Territorians.
Time to escape, 'cause I'm in need of warmer weather. Sail upon the stream to find there's someplace better, and I'm going far and wide. Ooh.
Great Northern Brewing Co. The beer from up here.
Consider the applicable PDS before making an investment decision.
Okay, we're ready to start the last quarter of this second division Bicentenary Grand Final between the VFA and the Northern Territory. The VFA 7-8-50 trail the Territory 15-7-97 as the ball's bounced, and the VFA through Collins get the ball away from the centre there, but only to be marked at centre half-back by Russell Jeffrey. Jeffrey's kick across the half-back line towards the centre. No mark paid there, and Cassetti has the ball. Play on, says the umpire, as a free kick was given to the VFA. Paul Martin's long bomb from the centre half forward position into the goal square is shepherded through by Ralphie Bergman, and the VFA start the way that they would have wished to start. At the 39-second mark of the first quarter, they have their goal to take them on to 8-8-56 in search of another 7, though, to make the game just a little bit more exciting from the VFA's point of view, Kim.
Another one of those, and it'll get very exciting, because any team that gets a sniff of victory, and with this strong following breeze, anything is possible. And that was a fantastic opening by the VFA. The Territory wouldn't want to be looking to rest on their laurels. Big Roy Cassetti, the ruckman, was caught in possession, unable to get his hand to the ball, and he had his opportunity to get rid of it, and the umpire free kicked the Victorian Football Association. 15-7 plays 8-8, and the VFA will be looking to do that again straight away. Here's Cassetti up hard against Round. He wins the tap down. Briston infringed, not paid. Rioli, a good tackle on Collins there. The VFA starting to get the ball out, tunnelled out well as Briston swoops on the loose ball. Now he looks out here to the running player at Motlop, and Osborne foolishly dealt with Motlop on the half-forward line, and the free kick will go to the NT. The VFA got to get the ball. They can't afford to be giving away frees like that as Motlop looks to drive the ball on. The leading Kadji Dunn, he's in the van, unable to mark as Bobby Jones comes through hard. Ball kicked off the ground by the VFA, and it trickles over out of bounds. Territory wouldn't want to relax for a second here. This VFA side full of very competent players. Got a lot of guys with current VFL experience, more than capable of capitalising on the situation.
Round and Bobby Jones to do battle here at the throw-in. Rounds taps it over the back looking for Paul Martin. Mickey McLean takes it away there and runs the ball down into the goal square. There's a one-on-one battle there between the Territory full forward, Dennis Dunn, who at this stage outmarks Robbie Evans, standing about 35 metres directly in front of goal, kicking into the very stiff breeze blowing from that end of the ground. Dennis Dunn looking to steady the Territory here with a goal.
Dennis Dunn, born on Melville Island, plays with the St Mary's Club in Darwin, has his league opportunities at a number of clubs. He comes in, hooks the ball, goes one way then the other, and only the minor score. Very difficult to kick goals into that strong breeze, and it'll be Robbie Evans to recommence play for the VFA. 3 minutes gone, final quarter, 15 goals 8, plays 8 goals 8, NT in the lead. There's the kick in, round in the van. He fists it away, well done, but only as far as Mickey Long. He swoops on the loose ball, steps around one player then the other, then he goes wide to Kadji Dunn, and Dunn marks strongly on the chest on the left half forward flank. He's looking inboard for Rioli. Now he decides to take the long option down towards his brother. He has to sit on Bobby Evans, hips him out the way, now steps around a couple of players and is caught in possession.
But the free kick had been paid earlier for the push that Dunn employed on Robbie Evans, and that free kick was paid before the play was called off. Evans looks like Alan Izard going to take the kick for Evans. He seems to have suffered a little bit in that clash. The pass is outside there, overrun by that Terry Wallace. The VFA has the ball, handballed it inside to Graham Osborne, but Osborne was too slow to get rid of the ball there, and the Territory wished to play on, but the ball wasn't over the mark, and the umpire has called it back behind for Maurice Rioli to take the ball. Rioli's kick deep into the forward pocket. Ball runs over everyone's there. It's handball away by the VFA to Terry Wallace. Wallace's kick along the wing, looking for Ralphie Bergman. Bergman's unable to take the mark, and the ball dribbles over the boundary line in front of that group of players.
Maybe a few signs of tiredness there by Bergman. He, on the long lead, normally would snap that opportunity up, but only able to paddle a ball out of bounds. And it looks like it's Cassetti versus Jones over the top. Down to Briston. Briston dispossessed.
Round's handball.
Comes out well. Good play, Barry Round. Shoots it down to half forward. Russell Jeffrey destroys, but Ronnie James tripped and will get the free kick at half forward. Willie Rowe infringing there for the Territory. Now, Ronnie James, what's he going to do? He's got the loose man there.
Andy Collins takes
Andy
the
Collins
mark.
has taken the strong mark at full forward. Should be a good, normally a reliable kick, John.
Just the distance might be a tester here for Andy. It's certainly the one that the VFA would be looking for. Success here would put the VFA within 6 goals, and of course the style of football today, 6 goals with a trailing breeze like this isn't beyond any side, Kim.
Not once the one team gets their confidence up. Collins' kick looks pretty good to me. Just faded away at the last minute. Minor score, and Rowan Hellier will bring the ball back into play for the NT. He looks out towards Tony Vagana. No, he decides to go the short pass to Brent Hughes, and he takes the strong mark. Oh, good play there by the VFA, but Hughes pushes him off back into Armat. Armat decides to go long down the wing towards the boundary line, and it's out on the full. That ball really carried away by the breeze there, and it looks like it'll be Terry Wallace, the current Richmond centreman, to bring the ball back into play. There's his kick. Wobbly, indecisive kick. Athanasia unable to mark, but Hughes backs up well. Looks inboard towards Rioli. Rioli now considers his options. Finds Vagona out in the half-forward line, but that wind seems to have actually picked up a bit, John.
Yes, and it does seem to be swirling around much more on this side of the ground even. The Robbie Evans has been taken from the ground from the VFA, which will pose a little bit of a problem. I noticed that Tony Pastore has been placed at full back on Dennis Dunn at this stage. Round doing battle there with Cascetti. The ball knocked free. The very good tackle there by Vagona, but Armat's going to be free kicked here. He plays on, looking for Ninny Briston. Briston's waiting for the ball to come down and is marked and decides to take the advantage of... the umpire has called play on, which is a little bit unfortunate for Briston then. I think the umpire was a little bit harsh on him. But Briston's kick goes right across the face of goal, where it's being marked by Alan Izard. Alan Izard's running on now, looking for the handball. Decides to go for a longer option there to Paul Dudley, but unfortunately the ball wasn't marked by Dudley, and it's been knocked back inside by the Territory. Again knocked on, where Mickey McLean picks up the ball now, runs the handball across to the half-forward line. A shot for the is over the top of the leading Dunn, and Ellen Eade takes the kick there, where now the VFA has an opportunity of running through Rodney Wright. Paul Martin has the ball on the wing, being held up by the Territory there. Good play by Kadji Dunn. Martin Cachetti, sorry, and Martin now runs away from Cachetti.
Good speed.
Straight through the centre, shows a good turn of speed there. Looking down to centre half forward for Grant O'Reilly. Ian Fairley comes across and knocks the ball down where Kadji Dunn has the ball, and he's being penalised. A little bit too slow to get the ball to his foot there. I think the umpire might have been just a trifle quick, but nevertheless the VFA is to benefit here through Ralphie Bergman with a free kick. Just short of the centre. It's probably a little bit too far out at this stage of the day, Kim, for Ralph to kick that ball.
There's Bergman's kick. It's a nice looking kick. Oh, it's covered a good 60 metres, that one. But
unfortunately, it pushed it a little bit to the side, and a point for the VFA moves them along to 8-10-58, trailing the Territory 15-8-98, a 40-point lead to the Territory at the approaching the 8-minute mark of the final quarter.
Hellier recommences play for the Territory back in towards the centre where Rioli and Hughes do battle for the Territory. Hughes hands off towards number 27, who's Mornay gets the ball out. Oh, good play by the VFA here, and they've got the numbers down there, and if O'Reilly can kick truly, they're in business. McLean, he butters up well, pushes off one player, then the other. Now Cachetti, getting a bit excited there, decided to short pass when it should have been a handball, and Wallace steps out of one tackle, then the other, but a poor shot at goal. It's only seen the minor score. The VFA, a golden opportunity there, John.
Yes, Kim, the last two chances, if the VFA had been able to score goals, it would have put them in a situation where they may have gained the front running.
Rowan Hellier, the Norwood defender, recommence play for the Territory. He goes straight up the centre to where Joe Armat is in the van. He's pushed in the back as he attempts to mark, and he's got Kadji Dunn out on his own. Dunn in front of Round. I don't think Barry's going to chase him at this time of the day. He makes an enormous effort to do it as the burly centre half forward shoots the ball in for his brother, and he's in front and takes a great mark as Pastor, favouring that heavily strapped left thigh, unable to cut off the Dunn lead. Territory played good football to run the ball down the ground then, and the VFA powerless to stop it. But they've still got to kick the goal, and it's very difficult to kick goals into that breeze, as we've seen on many occasions throughout this carnival. Dunn runs in, sets the ball off towards goals, and it looks like it's faded away at the last minute. No, Barry Round chips in front. Well tackled by Bobby Jones. Jones, super competitor. Handballs off back out to Briston. Briston, too slow to get rid of it. Handballs over towards Dunn. Dunn has to beat two players. Oh, Pastor, well done. Handballs back to Fairley. Fairley kicks the ball up in the air. Cachetti comes in hard and takes a strong mark for the Territory. But all the hard work being done there by Joey Armat as he held out Paul Martin. Territory looking to steady the play down, keep the ball down this attacking end of the ground as Willie Rowe is replaced by Cyril Rioli. There's the kick into the forward line. Jones in front for the Territory, unable to mark. Good attempt. Rioli comes through hard, but it's Wallace getting the ball out once again. Heaps of pressure here from the VFA as Athanasia comes back and takes the good mark for the Territory. He looks to hand off now. He's got Russell Jeffrey free over there. He has Cyril Rioli. The Territory now goes inboard, straight down the centre towards Tony Vagona, but it's Round who chips in and takes the good mark. Round starting to do his better work in defence, John.
Yes, Barry Round has been quite an effective player for the VFA today. Handballs that across to Graham Osborne. Osborne ducks and weaves around across the half back line, kicks a long left foot into the full forward position where O'Reilly's under the ball and marked there by the Territories. There's Rowan Hellier again. He's proved quite a formidable opponent for the VFA right back there on the full back line, Kim.
Rowan Hellier's had a magnificent carnival. Too good for Roach from the Tasmanian Football League and too good for Simon Beasley from the amateurs the other day, and he's had another good game here. Around, unable to mark as Joe Armat steps around one or two players and then eventually handballs the ball over the line and out of bounds as the VFA supporters call deliberate, but I don't think he had a lot of other options.
No, I think they might have been calling that he'd held the ball a little bit too long, Kim, which would have been our preferred option. Anyway, Round now does battle again with Cachetti, and the ball's taken away there by Rioli. Handballs it away to Michael McLean. McLean's left foot kick back into the centre of the ground is Rodney Wright trying to gain the attention of the umpire. Does so, being handled without the ball. Now kicks wide, looking for Rossi Thornton. Thornton's trying to run onto the bouncing ball across there in the half-forward line. Does so, but has a good option of what he can do with the ball when he gets it. And the ball is now lying on the ground there and is eventually trundled over the boundary line for the boundary umpire to start play again.
A lot of the pace gone out of this game here in this Australian Football Championship Grand Final. 11 minutes gone in the last quarter. The VFA desperate to kick goals to get back into this match. Good work there from Thornton and Wallace. Play on is the call of the umpire. They've been consistent with that decision as Cyril Rioli comes out with the ball. Now he looks down the wing towards Rioli. Rioli's in the van. He's pushed one way, then the other. Comes out with the ball. Handballs back to Tony Vagona. Tremendous skills. Mickey Long overruns the ball. The VFA's in the van here as a poor kicking there, but they managed to get away with it. Now they've got the running players. Rodney Wright steps around well. He's put under enormous pressure, and the poor kick into attack and poor kicking has cost the VFA on a number of occasions. There's Jeffrey, shoots the ball out towards Armat. Armat now decides to go for a run. He'll be looking to run the ball out of defence over towards Mickey Long. Mickey Long, now he decides to shoot the ball over towards Long. Long barely able to raise a gallop at this stage, covered an enormous amount of ground for the Territory. Izzard comes in hard. The ball kicked in towards
Andrew Evans there. Andrew Evans is being grabbed by the foot as he stands up now, attempts to play on and runs around Kadji Dunn. Ian Fairley on the wing for the VFA takes the mark, pushes the ball up into the forward line where Jeff Saru is almost outmarked there. The ball's on the ground, knocked out by O'Reilly. Picked up by Rossi Thornton, and the umpire decides that he will start play as the 13-minute mark just ticks across with the Territory leading 15-8-98, the VFA 8-11-59. Game is being played in good spirit down there at the moment. Some of the players decided to entertain themselves waiting for the umpire to restart proceedings, Kim.
Looks like it was Ralphie Bergman and a few of their opposite numbers are having a blue as Cassetti and Saru trying to get the free kick, claiming he was held. Poor free kick decision by the umpire there. Saru did the early holding and threw out his arms and won the umpire's decision. But impartial umpiring there from the South Australian. He made the decision. He must have been right, as Armat has been replaced by the Sturt speedster Adrian Machini. Here's Saru's kick. Not a bad looking kick either, but it just drifts away at the last minute for the minors score. VFA must capitalise on these opportunities, John.
Yes, unfortunately this quarter they haven't been able to convert as many of the opportunities as they've had. We've pushed through a number of points this quarter. Goals were required. As we wait for Hellier to bring the ball back into play. Athanasiou to bring the ball back into play this time. Grant O'Reilly standing the mark. Athanasiou goes long out to the wing.
Big fly there from a number of players. Briston intercepts for the Territory. He's pushed over the line and kicked the ball as he was pushed, and it's a free kick. No, the umpire has said he saw the push there, and Briston has been free kicked. Smallest player in the carnival is Briston with electric speed. He shoots the ball in towards Michael McLean, who has been interfered with as he attempted to mark. He now quick to play on, shoots it out towards Tony Vagona. Vagona has to sit, unable to mark. Good defensive work there from the VFA as Motlop intercepts the ball. Now it's out to Mark Motlop, his brother. He goes inboard towards number 21, Tony Vagona. Mark Motlop crashes through that pack with clever skill. Now he looks to go towards Dennis Dunn on the lead, and Dunn takes the good mark at full forward.
Very good skills there exhibited by the Territory players, and it was a wonderful lead by Dunn. Able to break away from Tony Pastor, and the ball hit him right on the chest, and a good mark. Well rewarded the efforts of the players down the ground, Kim.
15 minutes gone. Northern Territory Government Tourist Bureau Buffaloes in good control here as a poor kick by Dennis Dunn just fades away at the last minute. I might have been being a little bit harsh on Dennis there. The wind very gusty down there and very hard to judge. Just faded away at the last minute. Here's the ball brought back into play again as the umpire says that there was too many players in the goal square, and it looks like Alan Eade who to recommence play, or maybe, no, it's Tony Pastor, the former Footscray player. He has a look now. He's got a number of options there. He's got Osborne in the centre, but he ignores that one, decides to go long. The options seem to be drawing up for them as Machini and Fairley contest. Good player Thornton. He swoops on the loose one, but the VFA legs seem to have deserted them at a crucial time here as Mickey Long swoops on the loose one. He has a bounce. Now he has a look inboard. He's given the coat hanger by Osborne and ridden into the ground from the back, so I suppose he could have had two free kicks there, John.
I don't think he's going to need them at this stage with the scoreline the way it is, coming up to the 16-minute mark with the Territory having a 7-goal break with Michael Long, who probably has been the player of the series in the second division. The Dolphin Medal will be awarded at the end of this game to the player judged fairest and best by the umpires, and certainly Mickey Long would be one of the favourites for that award. Long's kick for goal is a beautiful kick. No, it's right into the goal square, faded away at the last minute. Looked like it was right on target for most of the journey. Pushed through by the VFA to take the Territory along to 15 99, leading 15-10, 100, where the short kick there is marked by the VFA over in the pocket. Looks like Rodney Wright.
Rodney Wright, nice looking kick down towards the wing, but the ball holds up as the Territory player fists it away. Bobby Jones in hard. He's got the ball now. He's been free kicked and plays on quickly to Vagona. Vagona has a quick look, has a flying shot, but it's out of bounds on the full, and the quick shot there by Vagona goes over the line, out on the full, and the NT move on to 15-10. No, sorry, that's right, out of bounds. We'll see the ball kicked back into play by the VFA.
That you need scores coming across from out of bounds of the situation at the moment, Kim.
Sorry,
the Territory well in control of the game as Rodney Wright pushes that ball up into the centre of the ground. Ball's pisted down there by the Territory player. Morris Rioli runs over the top of that, knocked away by Terry Wallace for the VFA. Once again, taken out, handball there to the Ninny Briston, passed into the centre. Vagona handballs across to McLean. McLean runs into an open goal, and this time the Territory, through very fine play there, record their 16th goal. 16-10, 106. The VFA 8-12-60. The VFA, while certainly being very disappointed at not winning this second division Bicentennial Championship, would acknowledge the tremendous effort that the Northern Territory team have put in its preparation. The VFA, the oldest football competition in Australia, joining with probably the youngest football competition in Australia. It's a great tribute to both, and the VFA, as the second domestic competition in the VFA, are really proud to have been part of this carnival, Kim. And now the Territory have got the ball running free again, with Rioli accepting that hand pass, passes a little chip in to Dennis Dunn, who is moving too fast there for Tony Pastore. Leads Pastore to the ball, takes the mark some 25 metres directly in front, and Dunn has had a number of shots into this breeze, unable to convert any of them. The pressure's right off him now, I guess, the situation being, and his kick this time is very true, I was going to say. The umpire has judged it to be a goal, perhaps right over the top of the post, and the Territory now 17-10, 112, leading the VFA 8-12-60.
Goes for the Gary Owen down towards Bobby Jones, but it's Michael Athanasia, the stalwart St Mary's defender, just been signed by West Torrens in the SANFL and eagerly sought by that club. There's his shot down towards half-forward line, towards Kaji Dunn. Dunn sets himself. Ball fisted away. Wallace unable to hand cleanly. Looks very tired player as he's disposed of by Dunn. Ball kicked back into the centre where Cassetti takes the mark. Cassetti, too slow to move the ball there. Should have moved it on a lot quicker. Ignored a lot of the... Now he decides to shoot the ball out towards Michael Lyon. And he's just timed his lead to perfection as McLean runs strongly onto the ball. Now, not a lot of options here from Michael. He finds Rioli on his own. And the VFA checking, falling away sadly here as Rioli decides to shoot it out towards Dunn. Dunn props, goes one way then the other. Good running by Collins. He got back in defence to support well. He runs the ball around the boundary line, but they've got to kick goals and they can't afford to hang on to the ball too long. Osborne throws it back inside to Wallace. He's set upon by Machini. Collins running well, but he's just been run down by Cyril Rioli. Great play there as Damien Burdo decides to run the ball back up through the centre. Round very tired at this stage. He could not get out of a gallop, but he still managed to get there, so he showed great courage.
Kim, Williamstown are playing a practice match tomorrow, and Barry Round, of course, is a leading player at Williamstown, and they're playing it on Skinner Reserve Sunshine, which is a ground which is probably akin in size to VFL Park at Waverley. And jokingly this morning we suggested that Barry Round should take part in that practice match. After his effort here today, I'm sure Terry Wheeler will be quite keen to rest Barry tomorrow. He's given a marvellous effort to the VFA as captain of this side in the last week.
38-year-old veteran, one of the greats to play the game. Ball out on the half-forward flank now, back down the wing. Mark Motlop runs the ball down. Support coming from McLean. Motlop centres towards Dennis Dunn, and Dunn made his first mistake for the day, apart from missing a few goals, but he overran the ball. Cassetti hits the ball out towards Wallace. Wallace unable to... Yes, he does. He gets it across to Ronnie James. James not having the influence on the game that everyone thought. Fairly with good hands to Thornton. Thornton straightens up. Fierce tackling there from the Territory. Ezard looks one way, then the other. But the VFA seems to have lost their way to some extent and unable to find a way out of defence. And the umpire, well, maybe the VFA can consider themselves a little unlucky there not to be free kicked. He's going to bounce.
Oh, fair decision, fair decision.
Hughes caught in control of the ball there, unable to get rid of it. Ball smothered and by the Territory player, and he's free kicked the VFA. I've never seen that done before, but I assume that it's illegal to smother the ball. I don't know that the umpire can make that decision, but he's, well, in the rule book.
Any decision in sport, Kim, once the umpire's made the decision, there's not much point in anyone arguing with it. Jeff Saru has the ball in front, and I'm sure the crowd will be delighted as he's pushed the ball across the face of goal to register only a point, which probably says a little bit about the way things have gone for the VFA today, Kim.
Tremendous support here from the South Australian crowd for the Buffaloes. Good crowd in attendance. Another couple of thousand people up on the other tier above. I'd say a crowd in the region of 7,000 or 8,000 at this stage.
Don't South Australian people love to cheer on any Victorian opposition, whether it's themselves or, as in this case, visitors from the territory?
Hellier brings the ball back into play. Good long kick out towards the half-forward flank. Eade flies high. Rioli good on the ground, shoots the ball around the boundary line and out of bounds in front of Bobby Jones. Bobby Jones has been the surprise packet ruckman of the carnival. He's been used sparingly by by coach John Taylor, but when he's had to do the lion's share of work, along with Roy Cassetti in this final, has been equal to the task.
It'll be interesting to see how Bob goes in his new career now as St Kilda's #1 draft player. He left Williamstown to go across to Tasmania quite some years ago, and it's interesting to see the St Kilda team picking up Bob at this stage of his career.
23 minutes gone in the last quarter. Territory with a commanding lead. They will run out Second Division Championship winners in this carnival in their first ever Australian National Football League carnival. And to the credit of the NTFL and to the credit of their support from the NT Government Tourist Bureau, the NT far too good. Running out winners, 17 goals, 10, 112. No, they've just kicked another goal because the Territory unable to intercept that. The VFA, 8 goals, 13, 61. But a convincing and commanding victory to the NT there. 112 plays 67.
Congratulations, Kim. From all at VFA, it's a wonderful thing for football. Certainly from the VFA's point of view, we were very keen to be successful in this, but given the result, as it has turned out, we commend the efforts of the Northern Territory Football League. Their players have been marvellous credit to Australian rules football. The skills that we've seen exhibited here today and the skills that they've played in their other 2 games against Tasmania and the Australian Amateurs were a wonderful tribute to the development of football in the Territory, and certainly we at the VFA look forward to meeting you again. One day maybe we'll be able to come up there and make the long trip to Darwin and enjoy ourselves in a carnival. Perhaps the opportunity might present itself for you to come over to Victoria to play us. But the result, with a convincing win to the Territory, congratulations, and go down and enjoy your celebrations, Kim.
Thanks very much, John.
Fine.
Congratulations.
From my point of view, personally, it was just a relief, to be honest. I think most coaches will tell you that when it's all over. I remember our Chief Minister of the day was Steve Hatton, and he'd actually come down for the game, and he sat on the bench next to me. And, you know, when the game finished and everything was sort of over, he looked at me and said, "Do you want a drink?" And I said, "Yeah, that'd be nice." So we actually went upstairs to a public bar, and we stood there and had a Bundy and Coke. So that was the immediate after effect, and the players did a lap of honour and all that. But for me, it was just relief. The players were rapt because they'd achieved a hell of a lot. I don't think we realised quite at the time just how much. You know, it was a fantastic team effort. I mentioned earlier with a lot of our representative games that we had to play players in positions that they may have been unfamiliar with just because of the team balance and the fact that, you know, we needed players like Athanasia and Jeffries and those guys to fill in key positions. But, you know, there were some players that came of age in the carnival, there's no doubt. Michael Long's the glaring example of that. You know, he was an All-Australian out of that, along with Maurice Rioli and Michael McLean. And Dennis Dunn probably should have been an All-Australian. I think he kicked 16 or 18 goals in the 3 games, which was far and away more than anyone else. But I think Paul Salmon was selected at full forward from the Victorian team, but nothing against Paul. He was a great player, but I don't think, I think Dennis deserved that All-Australian Guernsey. So, you know, we were led extremely well by Majo and Morris, and, you know, like everybody, and I mean everybody, you know, played their part on and off the ground. I mean, you can't perform on the ground unless you're doing the right things off the ground. And all of our players did all the right things off the ground. You know, we actually were forced to train in a park across the road from our hotel. So we had to overcome all sorts of adversity, I suppose, if you want to put it that way. We didn't see it that way. We just saw it as a challenge, and it was a challenge to be met, and we met it.
Step up here on the dais for a moment. Firstly, congratulations. It was a tremendous hard-fought game between two very talented sides, but undoubtedly the Northern Territory today certainly showed their skills when it all counted in the grand final. It must have been a little bit cool for you on Thursday night. I know the legs were left a little bit short, but today, no doubt about it, the Northern Territory really responded well, and you must be a very, very pleased man indeed.
I certainly am. We played well, and the boys put up a very good performance. And congratulations to the VFA side. They played well also to get to the finals. But I'd like to thank the boys. We've been together for quite a while now, especially this week. And we showed a few people that we can play football up in the Northern Territory.
If we had been in First Division, we would have had 6 All-Australians, probably 7, but because we're in Second Division and, that sort of wasn't considered to be, the strong division. But the great part was that the South Australian public, took us to heart. I mean, we were the story of the carnival. No one, as it turned out, not too many gave 2 hoots about the Victorian South Australian final. People actually came to watch the Territory. And because we played a great brand of footy, we had a lot of charismatic players, and we conducted ourselves, as I've said, on and off the field brilliantly. And, it was just a really exciting and wonderful time. If there was one disappointing part about the whole carnival, it was the fact that it really wasn't supported to the degree that the AFL at the time would have liked, and I'm sure the football public would have liked. The crowds were down, and we used to play earlier in the day, etc. But once we beat Tasmania, people came to watch us, and I think that gave our players a great sense of pride. In terms of what you did off the ground and all the rest of it, look, you've got to have a certain amount of trust. And, it's fair to say, I think we had a team meeting, and I spoke about that sort of trust. And I explained to the guys, look, if you want to come down here and you want to get on the booze, and you just want to have a great time with your relatives or whatever that are down here, and say, wasn't it great? We competed and we did really well, and then we'll toddle off home to the Territory, and everyone will be happy that we went down there. Then go right ahead and do it. But I believe with this team, we've got a fairly special lot of people, and we can achieve something really good, really great. So to do that, we need to stick together and look after ourselves and do all the right things. And believe me, when we win this, we'll celebrate as good as anybody. So we can put that aside. And I think the players decided that was what they wanted to do. And I'm sure there was a few little shenanigans that went on that I probably didn't know about and nobody else did. But that's just part and parcel of team sport, and that's part and parcel of building relationships between each other. And once the time came to perform, our guys performed, and you can't ask for anything more. So we obviously did something right. I mean, we must be the only team that's won a national championship that went to Hungry Jack's to celebrate. I know that much. I suppose the other tragedy, apart from some of the crowds, was that the AFL at the time had no money. So we were supposed to, I'm not sure how much we were supposed to win, but it was quite a bit. It was 15 or 20 grand, I think. But I'm pretty sure the NTFL never got a cent. So the whole exercise cost a lot of money, even though, all of our players, coaches, administrators, everybody did it for nothing. But that was all just part of the deal back in those days. And, it would have been great if the AFL had been able to, send some money to the Territory, because it would have helped to, further our cause a lot more and get a lot more players into the AFL a lot more quickly. I mean, the AFL's big business. We all know that. And whilst we've got some great talent, and we've sort of demonstrated that, and we'll continue to demonstrate that. I don't think we're ready for an AFL team, and I can't see us being ready to have a fully fledged AFL team in Darwin for quite some time in the future. I think it's great that all of our players are now recognised and sought after, drafted, looked after, etc. And I love turning the TV on and watching any Territory blokes running around, whether it be for the Adelaide Crows, the West Coast Eagles, for, Geelong, Richmond, whoever. And I think he's a Territory guy. And so at the moment, that does me. In terms of putting together a fully fledged AFL club in Darwin, I just think that's a little bit of a bridge too far just at the moment. I think who knows what the future may hold, but it's a population thing. I mean, we just haven't got the population and we haven't got the money. Yes, we have got the talent, but, that talent sometimes ebbs and flows no matter where it is. Back in the 80s, we were extremely strong and we were very competitive. Whether we would have been able to be competitive on a week-to-week basis, given the facilities that everyone else had, I think we would have been. But then we all get a bit older and we all move on and other people take over, and sometimes you go through different eras, and sometimes those eras can be stronger, sometimes they can be not quite as strong. I think it's fair to say that the AFL's gone ahead in leaps and bounds. When we were playing VFL clubs back in the 80s, they were very strong and they were difficult to beat, but they were certainly not at the level of what the AFL is at these days. And whilst they've gone forward, I think a lot of the other leagues, I think the SANFL, the Waffle, and, just by comparison, the NT have probably either stayed the same or maybe even gone a bit backwards. I think the State of Origin concept's a great concept. I think it gives everyone something to aspire to. I think it's great. I think it's the one thing. Everyone's now got a diet of AFL, which is wonderful. I mean, I love it. You're watching the footy all the time with all this pandemic stuff going on at the moment. I think just about any football follower would tell you the one thing they miss the most is the footy. But but it's all AFL, and that's fine. But I do think that they could make some room in the middle, and have a State of Origin. And I think it should be up front and centre. And I don't think it should be just Victoria versus South Australia or Western Australia. I think everyone should be involved, and it should be celebrated as a celebration Australia-wide, not just in Victoria or South Australia or what have you. So, yeah, I think State of Origin's great, and I'd love to see it revived. I hope we get to do it a little bit more often than we have, simply because we are all getting a bit older, and, as you get older, your memory doesn't fade all that much, but the celebrations probably don't quite take on the proportions that they might have 20 or 30 years ago. But look, I think I love getting together with all of the ex-players, and the great part about the Territory football back then, the representative games and in particular the Carnival, was that it brought everyone together. It didn't matter whether you played for Nightcliff, St Mary's, Buffaloes, whoever. Those games brought everyone together, and it's a great thrill when you get together and you see all people from all of the clubs, reminiscing and embracing each other and celebrating Territory football and their families and that sort of thing. So the more of that you can have, the better example you set to the kids coming through as well. So I think all of those great players that I had the privilege to be involved with back in the 80s and the 90s, the more you get them all together and the more you talk to them and the more you probably let us dribble on a little bit about how good we were, etc., better it's got to be for the whole competition. So I'd like to get together at least every probably 2 or 3 years, and the Hall of Fame stuff and the Team of the Century, or the Team of the Century, but all the Fame stuff gives us an opportunity to do that. And I think we should continue to recognise our great players at every opportunity we get, and our great administrators, coaches, whoever, and encourage that and have it as often as we possibly can. You know, I sort of don't believe it sometimes. And I think if you ask a lot of people, you know, that have gone through some really exciting and great times, it almost seems like it's another life, you know, and I look back and think, gee, was that really me? And, you know, I sort of look back at the players sometimes and think, gee whiz, you know, they could really play, those guys, and I was all part of that. So it's, in one way, it's all sort of a blur, but in another way, it's sort of very grounding, because you actually realise a lot more that you couldn't have got there and without all the people around you. You couldn't have got there without the players. You couldn't have got there without the administrators. You couldn't have got there without everybody, you know, umpires, you know, everybody. And you sort of get to recognise that a lot more later on. When you're caught up in the hurly-burly of it all, you know, you just make decisions on the fly, and you do what you think's needs to be done at the time, and you just sort of forge ahead. But later on, when you got time to reflect on it all, you think, well, gee, how lucky was I? I came along at the right time, had the right players, had the right people, got some success. And it actually makes you appreciate a lot of the other people too that went before you that probably weren't quite as fortunate. It wasn't that they lacked talent or ability. It was just that they didn't get probably opportunity, and a little bit of luck always goes a long way. So for me, I'm wrapped. I'm really humble. I'm humbled by all of the accolades. I mean, I feel privileged that my name's going to be there, you know, probably long after I'm not. But you know, so that's really fantastic and something I'm really grateful for.